Chapter 2. First Artistic Endeavors. In the heart of Renaissance Florence, young Leonardo da Vinci began to emerge from the shadows of his apprenticeship, his talent ready to leave its own imprint on the world. This chapter of his life marked the beginning of a journey that would eventually establish him as one of the greatest artists in history. In Andrea del Verrocchio's workshop, where he had been both student and collaborator, Leonardo's skills flourished. His early works, though often overshadowed by his later masterpieces, were indicative of a burgeoning genius. One of the earliest testaments to his emerging style was his contribution to Verrocchio's painting, The Baptism of Christ. Leonardo painted the young angel holding Jesus' robe, and it was said that his angel was so superior to his master's figures that Verrocchio, upon seeing it, vowed never to paint again. The Florence of Leonardo's youth was a hive of artistic activity, brimming with competition and creativity. Here, he was exposed to the works of great artists like Donatello and Botticelli. The artistic environment of Florence, rich with the revival of classical learning and an emphasis on humanist ideals, was the perfect crucible for Leonardo's talents. In these years, Leonardo began to establish his artistic identity. His fascination with nature and human anatomy started to manifest in his art. He spent countless hours studying the human body, sketching with meticulous detail and aiming to understand its form and function. This pursuit of anatomical understanding was not just an artistic endeavor but a quest to decipher the very essence of life. Leonardo's early paintings also showcased his innovative use of perspective, a technique still in its infancy in the art world. His understanding of light and shadow, which would later culminate in the technique known as sfumato, began to emerge. This technique, characterized by the subtle blending of colors and tones, would become one of his greatest contributions to art. One of his notable early works, Annunciation, exemplifies his mastery of perspective and attention to detail. The angel's wings, the drapery of the clothing, and the carefully rendered plants in the foreground all speak of a keen observer of the natural world and a skilled hand. But Leonardo's artistic journey was not just about mastering the brush. His curiosity was boundless. He delved into engineering, inventing machines and devices, some of which were practical, others purely imaginative. This intersection of art and science was a hallmark of Leonardo's work, setting him apart from his contemporaries. As Leonardo's reputation grew, so did the range of his commissions. He began to attract the attention of Florence's elite, and his network expanded beyond the confines of Verrocchio's workshop. It was during this period that he began to develop his own style, a fusion of his scientific observations and artistic talent. However, Leonardo was not one to be hurried. He worked at his own pace, often leaving projects unfinished, much to the frustration of his patrons. This habit, a source of consternation for those who commissioned his work, was a reflection of his perfectionist nature and his incessant pursuit of knowledge. In these early years of his career, Leonardo da Vinci was not just shaping his artistic voice. He was redefining what it meant to be an artist. No longer was an artist merely a craftsman. In Leonardo's hands, art became a means of exploring and understanding the world. His first artistic endeavors laid the foundation for a legacy that would forever change the landscape of art. The Florence of the late 15th century was the perfect canvas for Leonardo's burgeoning genius. It was here, in the bustling streets and amidst the vibrant artistic community, that Leonardo began to carve his path, a path that would lead him to become one of the most celebrated artists in human history.